I posted this on X earlier. In 1752, John Wesley got together with a bunch of other clergy that were following him, that were the early formation of what became known as Methodism. These were, at the time in 1752, known as the evangelicals within the Anglican Church. They got together, they developed, and John Wesley developed a anti-gossip covenant in 1752. That's what I'm going to talk about today because it is very relevant to us all, especially on social media. So, excuse me, the first point of the covenant: do not willingly inquire about negative news concerning others. Don't look for it. I heard a Zeducation on one of his podcasts. He referred to it as doom scrolling. Stop doom scrolling. Stop absorbing all this negativity and then spreading it. Do not willingly inquire about negative news concerning others. Point 2. If you hear something negative, do not be quick to believe it. That is one of the biggest problems, not only on social media, but in society in general at this time. Anything comes down the pike that is negative towards your opponents, if you would, you immediately assume it is true. You believe it. A lot of what is now referred to as Trump derangement syndrome, I don't play politics, not playing politics, so I'm using this as an example. A lot of what TDS is literally people who are so quick and want to believe every negative thing they hear. If you hear something negative, don't be quick to believe it. Now, this next point is more to do with interpersonal relationships, in real life relationships. Communicate what you heard directly to the person concerned as soon as possible. Don't absorb negative news. Don't be too quick to believe any negative news. If you hear something negative and you're going to talk about it, talk to the person concerned directly as soon as you can. 4, this is the hard one. Do not speak not even a single word. Do not speak a single syllable about the matter to anyone else until you have spoken to the person involved. That's a very nice way of saying keep your mouth shut. Why keep your mouth shut? Because you don't know. You know nothing really except what you heard. You don't know context. You don't know circumstances. You don't know anything. You just know what you heard. Don't be quick to believe it. And if you hear it, even if you do believe it, keep your mouth shut until you've actually spoken to the person involved. Or on social media, until you've actually ascertained through multiple different sources and through time, a full telling of the incident, whatever it may be. I watch these blow-ups, and we've had a lot of them recently on social media, and otherwise you would assume sane people just go completely off the deep end. bonkers in fury and outrage because they were doom scrolling their early opinions, strongly held opinions, to the point people literally start muting them because they're so sick of the negativity. They turn out to be 180 degrees wrong. And then they're faced with one of two options. Pretend they never said it, a lot of them. A lot of them you wouldn't expect to do that. They pretend they didn't say it. And when you show them the post, they'll accuse you of misinterpreting their words that they typed. So that, or the other option is a more humble option. They admit they're wrong. You know, if you didn't speak a single syllable about the matter to begin with, you'd never have to deny, despite evidence, that you actually said it, and you'd never have to eat some humble pie. There are ways, by the way, to talk about these things. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Don Lemon was arrested on 8 felony charges. I read the charging documents, and I will tell you, if what's in the charging document is accurate, he has cooked his goose. He is in trouble. And I use the word if the charging documents are accurate. And the reason I use the word if is my brother-in-law was an attorney, very good attorney. And I remember him saying over and over and over again, the reason you never, ever, ever, ever talk to the authorities, ever, is because you don't know what they have, and you don't know what type of story they are trying to mold to prove you did what they think or suspect you did. And you saying something very innocent, they can twist it when you get to court. That's the whole point of anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Exercise your right to remain silent. You can talk like I commented if the charging documents are true and accurate in the evidence they claim. He's in trouble. But we don't, and I went on to say, we have no idea if what are in the charging documents are true. We don't know. No matter how much we want to think it's true, no matter how much we want to think it's not true, we don't know. We don't have all the information. Anybody online who claims I've done much investigation and I've determined, they're liars. They're gossipers. Don't be one of them. But more importantly, don't fall for it. Point 5 is, even after you've spoken to the person involved, do not mention it to anybody else. Ever. Don't spread gossip. And he finishes up with a final point that they all took a covenant and swore to. These rules are absolute, unless a member was absolutely obligated to speak at a formal conference. What that means is, unless the member is under oath in a court of law and must speak, that's the only exception. I posted on X, I said, what a different world social media would be if we all just follow these rules. And I'm going to tell you, first, I know I break them. So what I'm going to say to you next in closing is not an accusation to you, because I'm going to point to you and my thumb is going to be pointing directly back at my face. Hold your tongue. When you see doom, agitation, otherwise just over the top, trying to get a reaction post, ignore it. Scroll by it. And if you should make the mistake, and we all do, of reading it, don't pass it on. Let it lie. Because I'm going to tell you a reality of your life. You raging about somebody else's rage does nothing. It does not change the thing you're raging about at all. It does not change society for the better. It actually harms society. When you are doing that, you are actively engaging in harm. Now, I am not, do not misunderstand me. When we witness people massacring innocent civilians by the thousands, I am not saying keep your mouth shut about that. When we witness a regime killing tens of thousands, 20 of thousands in a few days, do not keep your mouth shut about that. But when you see 5 seconds of a video of a police interaction that went wrong, keep your damn mouth shut. You're not helping. You're harming your society. You are actually creating the very dystopia you want to avoid, that you think or feel by speaking you're fighting against that dystopia. You're not. You're bringing that dystopia into reality. There's an old saying, justice moves slowly. And it does. People want an instant resolution. And it's not going to happen. The reason it moves slowly is to cool all the tempers and give time, much time, for every possible fact to be investigated, to understand, before a judgment is rendered on anything. Don't gossip. Live your life. If we all took this covenant together and we lived this covenant, and we're going to do it imperfectly, social media would be a place for people to look for uplifting and positive reinforcement in life, not a place to doom scroll, not a place that poisons your soul. Do not willingly inquire about negative news concerning others. And if you hear something negative, do not be quick to believe it. Communicate what you heard directly to the person concerned, only the person. And do that as soon as possible. Do not speak a single syllable about the matter to anyone until you have spoken to the person involved. And even after you have spoken to them, which means whether you found out it is true or whether you found out it is a lie, doesn't matter. Even after speaking to them, do not mention it to anyone else. Hold these rules as absolute. Unless you are forced in a court of law, unless you are absolutely obligated to speak. In closing, I'm just going to give you a couple of quick scriptures. Proverbs 16 through 28. A perverse person stirs up conflict, and gossip separates close friends. I don't have any close friends on social media. I don't know anybody I interact with on social media. I've not met them. I do have very good acquaintances, and I will tell you, I have muted several very good acquaintances. They're gossiping, and they might tell you my gossiping. I don't know. You'd have to ask them. And I won't deny it if they bring up a point. But it is separating us. Now, I do check back in. And when they calm down, I unmute them. But I just can't have that poison in my life. Proverbs 26:20. Without wood, a fire goes out. And without a gossip, a quarrel dies down. That is probably the most important. Write that on your heart. Are you wood, feeding a fire? Or are you withholding the wood and letting the fire die down? Proverbs, you heard the mutt. Proverbs 18:8. The words of gossip are like choice morsels. They go down to the innermost part. That's an important one, because remember, what you gossip may go to the deepest part of a reader or a hearer of your gossip. And that can be very destructive, especially when your gossip is proven to be false and wrong, or your gossip is agitating and enraging people. Your gossip goes into the innermost parts. Ephesians 4:29, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only that which is helpful for building others up. Can't say anything nice, don't say it at all. Finally, I will end and close on Psalms 34:13. You can tell I'm reading Psalms. Psalms 34:13. Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from telling lies. Have a great day, folks.